Hi there. So I thought long and hard about what I wanted this first video to be about. And I think it's going to sort of key on the core element that made the 15-year run to financial independence possible. And I think this picture and actually the logo or the icon you'll see on this page, on my Facebook page, all of it is this picture, but let me share it with you right now. So hopefully you can read that. It basically says no alligators. Let me explain what I mean by no alligators. What I mean by no alligators is when you purchase an investment property, it needs to produce positive cash flow. After all expenses, after mortgage payment, after everything, you should have a net positive number. Now, this is not a revelation to anyone, I'm sure, and many of you are going, no kidding. However, when I actually talk to individuals and real estate investors, I can tell you more times than not, they're going something like this. They're saying, hey, my Excel file or my calculations show I'm break even, which is code to me for losing $100 a month. Hey, I'm negative $100, but I got to buy something. Nothing in my market makes sense, and I can afford it. No, you can't. You cannot afford alligators. Let me say that again. You cannot afford alligators and get to financial independence. Sure, you could afford one, you could afford two, maybe even three, but you will eventually run out of money. This is not the plan for you. So you can't buy them. As I will share with you when my book gets published, you can't even create them. One of the very first things I did 12, 13 years ago is I took the first property we ever purchased. And because prices went up, I went ahead and refied it because the bank said I could. Well, that was stupid. I took a positive cash flow property and turned it into an alligator. So every month I owned it after the refinance, it was taking money out of my pocket. Sure, I produced a pile of cash, and sure, I went ahead and bought more property and those cash flowed, but I had an alligator every month. So that is not okay. So don't buy alligators and don't create them, ever. Either put more down or find a different deal. Right? There's no rule that says, hey, because the bank will let me buy with 10% down or 20% down, doesn't mean you can't put down more. I would put more money down to produce a positive cash flow property. And I'm not talking a skinny deal, right? You need to be very confident in the most conservative numbers that at the end of the month, there will be a positive number there. Now, during a year, you'll have things happen. Water heaters will go out, leaks will happen, evictions, whatever. Not every month is going to be positive. But you cannot buy a property with the eye of, it's okay, I can afford it, it's only one time. Don't do that, okay? If we're going to do this together, this is the first thing you have to understand. No alligators. You got me? The last thing I want to point out is something I just touched on a minute ago. Just because a bank will lend you money to buy a piece of real estate does not make it a good deal. A lot of the people that suffered during the real estate crash had bank loans. Had 90-10-10s, right? Which 90% first, 10% seconds, and they put 10% down. They lost the properties. Just because a bank says yes does not mean it's a good deal. You, as the individual, need to look at it. You need to know it's a good deal. And if it's not, if you have any question or hesitation, don't do the deal. All right, so that's our first video. I'm going to go ahead and try to produce another one for you today because we got to get this thing started. Have fun and take care.